Hey everyone, welcome back. Kapil here. As you know, there is a lot of hype, and basically it's a trending topic about Apple MacBook Air with M2. Some YouTubers are saying it's a very bad device, it's an overheating problems. Some are saying it's good. So I decided why not check out some of the popular YouTubers videos about it, what they are saying about it, whether it's really a good one or a bad one. So let's view some videos and then I will be giving my opinion and reactions about them. Let's start with Dave2D.
Now, my review unit is this midnight color. It's like a dark blue finish. I like the look of it. And when I unboxed it, it also came with this braided MagSafe cable that is color matched. It's also a midnight colored MagSafe cable.
See, as Dave's told, the midnight color, it's actually a really good color. Basically, it's a new color. And above all that, to make it more premium, Apple even the cable, the charging cable, Apple is giving a color matched cable. Even I have ordered with midnight color. So let's see, once I get it, I will definitely do an unboxing and a full detailed review about it.
As well as the 35-watt dual charger. Now this is an optional accessory that comes with the upgraded versions of the M2 MacBook Air, but it has 2 ports for charging multiple devices.
Even the one that I have ordered, also ordered it with this dual port charger. I don't need fast charging because this MacBook, like this newer MacBook, the battery life is really awesome, so you don't need to actually charge them frequently. So the fast charger was not needed, but with dual ports, now I need to carry one less charger with me if I'm on the move or if I'm traveling. I can easily charge my iPad or iPhone, like whatever I want, direct, just with the help of a single brick. So this is actually good, and I'm not sure, like this particular YouTuber is not from India, but on the Indian website, at least when I ordered, this was the default charger that Apple is giving. If I need to get the fast charging, I need to pay, I think, 10k or something extra, but I don't need fast charging, so I went with this.
This is, if I'm not mistaken, the first MacBook that Apple has made that has had a dark metal finish. Like, we've seen dark plastic MacBooks, but never something as dark as this.
This is the first time Apple has launched a metallic MacBook with such dark shade. So that's one of the reasons for me also that I have selected this particular color. I already have silver, I've used space gray also in past, so I thought, like, why not, let's try this.
I like the look of it, but the fingerprints are everywhere. Like, you just touch it for a little bit and just smudges and fingerprints just start appearing.
Yeah, I am also worried about this particular thing because I have seen in like a lot of YouTube videos that this dark shade is basically a fingerprint magnet. But no issues, we can always clean it up.
But if you're sensitive to this stuff, go for a lighter color or get a skin to go over it on the top.
I kinda don't agree on this. Like, if I'm ordering a particular color and if I cover it with a skin, what's the point? So I basically prefer to use my laptops or MacBooks without any kind of skin or cover. So that's my opinion. It depends on person to person, but I don't prefer to use any kind of skins with a laptop. Yeah, I always keep them in a laptop bag or anything whenever I'm traveling, but I don't really like this concept of skins.
There are 2 USB-C ports on the left. These support Thunderbolt 4, but it still only supports 1 display out. There's also the MagSafe connection on that side.
Okay, now this is also one of the good things that it comes with 2 Thunderbolt port and 1 MagSafe. So now if you are charging with MagSafe, you get to use 2 Thunderbolt port. Of course, it allows only 1 monitor, but the point is, this is not a pro machine where you want to connect more than 1 monitor. This is for an everyday user for doing everyday tasks. So if it's suppose just 1 monitor, I think it's more than enough. Like if you really want to connect multiple monitors and all those things, then you should actually go for a Pro, MacBook Pro 14-inch with M1 Pro or Max chip. Then that should actually help. But for this MacBook Air, I think 1 monitor is more than enough. And with added MagSafe, you are getting 2 Thunderbolt port free, like for anything else. So that's a good thing.
Okay, let's talk about performance. So the chip that's in here, in the Air, is the same chip technically as the one that's in the M2 MacBook Pro underneath there. But the performance is a little bit different. If you only look at short benchmarks, the M2 MacBook Air is still about a 10 or 15% bump over M1, and same with the GPU, it's like 35, maybe 40% better than M1. But because the M2 MacBook Pro has a fan, it can remove heat that builds up over time. This device doesn't. The only way it can get rid of the heat is just to radiate it outwards and let your environment get rid of it. And the result is that the M2 MacBook Air is not good at maintaining a high level of performance for an extended period of time.
I don't think this is actually an issue. See, even in my case, if I give my own example, my main machine is an M1 Pro that comes with fan. But what I do is, this one is actually particularly always docked. This Air basically is for a general everyday use. It's not for heavy video editing and all those things or doing any heavy tasks. It's basically targeted at normal professionals or students who are actually just going to use it like for mails, browsing, and even you can occasionally do editing. But you may suffer a little sometimes you may face throttling, but still I don't think like if there are just a few HD or 4K clips, this throttling will actually affect you. Yeah, of course, if you want to edit multiple 8K clips or anything such thing, then you actually need a pro chip. This basically MacBook Air is not for you if you are a video editor, basically a professional video editor. If you are doing some small tasks, I think MacBook Air is more than enough. The main reason the MacBook Air series is actually to give you portability along with performance. So I think that this is something that should be ignored, or actually some people or YouTubers are just creating hype or basically just to get views. They are actually overreacting on this heating issue or overheating issue. Actually, and not only this, I would share one more thing. Like if you since it's a fanless device, you actually need not worry if your pets or something at your home, that their fur or something will basically affect the CPU fan or something like that. So I think it is actually a good device. Depends what is the purpose of buying this, how you are actually going to use this device.
The thing to keep in mind is that people who are buying this system, like people who are looking at an M2 MacBook Air product as their regular computer, they're not people editing like 8K films and like compiling huge projects. Like that's just not the regular workflow.
See, as I said earlier, this is not for editing for 8K footages or anything like that, but with normal HD or 4K, it should work just fine. All I would suggest is don't go for the base model, get at least 512GB SSD or a 1TB and get 16GB RAM, so that swapping and all those things does not affect or slow downs. And for normal footages, I think if you're at least using in a cool environment, you should not be worried about it. Yeah, but of course, if you are someone who is doing editing whole day or something like that, then there is no option but to go for M1 Pro or a Max.
It's also very noticeable in games. Even the moderately demanding titles don't do as well on the M2 MacBook Air compared to the M2 MacBook Pro.
No, and who plays games on a Mac? Get a Windows system if you really want to use it for gaming.
Okay, a quick note on the storage and the controversy that's surrounding it. So the base models of the M2 products, like both the Pro and the Air, come in at 256 gigs of storage. But this year, they're only using a single NAND for that drive, so it results in significantly slower drive speeds when you're running a drive speed benchmark. Now, there's concern over this because Apple Silicon performance can sometimes lean quite heavily on fast drives. Like if you have a big project and you don't have a lot of RAM and it's doing some disk swapping, it can hurt performance in a noticeable manner. The thing is, I think the vast majority of people on an M2 MacBook Air are not working on crazy big projects with like 10 Chrome tabs open. It's just not a thing. And even if you are working with huge video files, you're probably using one of the bigger drives that don't have these reduced speeds.
I kind of agree over here. Basically, as I said earlier, some YouTubers just to get views are basically creating controversies and creating hype over about the slow drive speed. If you are really into editing and all those stuff, and if you actually want to use Air, I don't think you will be going for a 256GB disk. You will be going for at least for 512GB or 1TB. So If you are taking 512 or 1 TB, then actually there won't be any problem of slowdowns. And if you are going for a 256 GB, then just make sure you don't use it for stuff like editing and all those like heavy tasks. And for normal users, this speed or benchmarks actually does not matter. Even the speed or the performance of disk IO that 256 GB is giving is actually more than enough for normal tasks. Only high, what you say, very demanding applications or demanding tasks require a lot of IO. Normal browsing and all those things won't, like, you won't find any difference in performance.
It's still a 60 hertz panel, so no ProMotion, but it's bright, the colors are good, and the bezels are nice and thin now.
Yeah, I think 60 hertz is actually more than enough. At least I don't think like even actually the monitor that I'm using a MacBook Pro with M1 Pro chip. This device actually supports 120 hertz, but I've connected it to an external monitor and it won't go over 60 hertz. So even in that case, 60 hertz actually does not matter for a human eye. So I don't think this is actually a problem.
The webcam on the top is a 1080p webcam.
Now over here, Apple has given an upgrade to the webcam 1080p, so you can actually have better videos or at least better quality video calls. But I think even 720 was more than enough. You don't need to do a video call in 4K, or you are not going to actually record your YouTube videos or anything or using a webcam. So it is actually good. Always if you give a free upgrade or basically an upgrade in the next release, it's always welcome. But 1080 or 720, I don't think it actually matters.
Speaker system, so there's 4 speakers and they're great. The shocking thing to me is how good they're able to get like the mid frequencies and lower frequencies, like the bassy stuff, on a system so thin.
And the speakers, as he suggested, I will give you my opinion once I receive my piece or my device. But I hope they are actually good as Dave is suggesting.
Really well. Battery life was good for my testing. It's a little bit less than the M2 MacBook Pro, but
so yeah, I agree. Battery has actually been always good since Apple started using their own silicon. Before this, my M1 Pro, I was having Intel based MacBook Pro 16-inch with Core i9, and its battery was really bad. I could hardly use it. Like, it was a new one. It was not like I got it like few years ago. I got it in 2020 itself, but in the same year itself I never got like really good battery output with it. I had to charge it like every 1 or 2 hours, even though at that time I was not doing YouTube videos or editing. I was just doing my sysadmin task on it. But since I got this M1 Pro, I can say like this Apple silicon basically has changed the whole game. Now battery life is really good. Like, if I am using this M1 Pro without a charger, I can use it for whole day. For my regular task, I can even edit 1 or 2 videos with it. Then too, without a charger, it works, and I still have some charge left at the end of the day. So this is actually a good thing. So I have no doubt even this M2 MacBook Air will be giving very good battery performance or battery backup. Okay, let's now go to Mkbhd.
So theoretically, this is more than just a refresh. This is our first look at what's possible with Apple in a thin and light form factor now that they finally design the silicon and everything around it.
Yeah, I agree. This is actually a complete redesign or basically a fresh design. It does not have that wedge shape. It's a boxy looking, MacBook Air. So this is the first of its kind in MacBook Air.
And it's also deceivingly expensive, but
yeah, I kind of agree on that. The price is too high. Like, as I said, I'm paying 1,75,000 plus, that too with discount, the cashback offer, else it goes to 1,80,000. That too just for 16 GB of RAM and 1 TB SSD. That's very expensive.
They've thinned out the bezels around the new display, which let them bump it up a bit to 13.6 inches diagonally.
Yeah, the bezels have improved, as I have seen in different videos and even on the Apple website. So that is actually a very good thing.
There's a notch in the top middle, which has become a part of Apple's design language at this point, but that quick.
This notch actually, it has never bothered me. Even on my MacBook Pro, I hardly ever notice that there is a notch because that part actually goes in the top menu, so it does not bother you at all.
Also, the display is way better. It has a higher 500 nit max brightness.
Okay, now since it has a 500 nits of brightness, I don't think we will have problem even if we are using it outdoor. So that's also a really good thing.
They also added MagSafe plus a color matching braided cable, which is a nice touch. By the way,
Yeah, again, as I said in Dave2D videos, MagSafe is actually a really good add-on. It basically, even if you if you put your laptop on table and it's charging, and if somebody passes by and by chance get entangled in the cable, don't worry, your MacBook Air will be safe, only the cable will get plugged out. But if you are using a USB-C based charging, it may even pull your laptop down along with the cable.
it's great. It's not perfect though. I do still wish that they'd put USB Type-C on both sides, but
Yeah, I agree over here. Because since it's on the just one side, you need to, if you are suppose connecting an external monitor or something, you need to keep your MacBook Air in such a way so that your monitor is always on the left side of the MacBook Air. You cannot keep it on the right side, because if you keep it on the right side, you will need a longer cable, and the cables will be basically cables could get entangled or lying over here. So actually that's a good suggestion, and that should Apple should actually implement. Maybe they could give like USB-C, one USB-C port on each side.
and when I first got hands-on with this thing, I was very curious about the speakers, because as you can see, they are pretty much invisible unless you know where to look, but they are right up in the hinge of this laptop, so I was curious if they'd be any good. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it turns out they sound really good. They sound great. Not as much bass and thump as the bigger laptops like the MacBook Pros, but still very, very loud and more than enough for media consumption, that type of thing, music, watching videos, all that sort of stuff.
So I think with hidden speakers and good audio, it's actually again a good thing. And who actually needs like very loud speakers? I guess like if you actually want to consume media or something, at least I personally use just AirPods or any other Bluetooth headphones. So that's actually a good thing that Apple is still giving some good speakers with MacBook Air, and that too hidden.
It was around those ports, the USB-C port and MagSafe ports. If you miss plugging it in enough times, you're going to scratch the paint, and it'll be most noticeable on this dark laptop because it has silver underneath. So I guess
I'm actually a little worried about it, but then I thought, okay, why to worry? Like this, why not just enjoy what you are getting? Why not enjoy this new color? Why to be like, you can use it little carefully. We should avoid like plugging the cables multiple times or something like that. But I think this particular point should not stop us from buying this particular color. Let's enjoy it.
So I guess there's three solutions. One, don't get this color. Two, if you do get this color, maybe protect it with a case or a dbrand skin. That's my personal preference. There's lots of great dbrand skins to make the back of the laptop especially not look so ridiculous. Or three, take really, really good care of it.
I agree with the third point. Take really, really good care and don't use deep brand, or just use it carefully. That's it.
It's not the thinnest and lightest laptop in the world, but it's one of those like I could carry it everywhere type things. I love using it every day. It makes me kind of jealous because I, in my normal workflow, regularly do video editing on a laptop now, so I carry around this huge 16-inch laptop. But yeah, if I didn't have to do that, I would love to carry this around. So it's fantastic.
I agree with MK over here, because this is the main purpose for me also to get this MacBook Air. So I don't want to carry my MacBook Pro everywhere, because it is actually always docked and connected to my monitor. So I don't want to keep unplugging it every time I am moving here and there in the house. I basically work from home. So this is also one of the reasons to get a MacBook Air. I needed a standby machine as well as something portable. So if you like this video, let me know in comments. If you want me to make a part 2 of it, I will find some more good YouTubers and give my opinion or reactions about them. And make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if not already subscribed. because I will be soon receiving my MacBook Air M2 with custom build, and I will make a unboxing video and a full review as well as long-term reviews and a lot of tutorials and everything about it. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel and let me know in comments if you want me to make more such videos about reactions and opinion. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.